If I can bring fire into cinema the way that Bruce Lee brought martial arts into cinema, that would be a dream come true.
I want to be able to live in my art form or live in the movement for as long and as much as I can.
This film is about a bunch of dreamers and artists who have dared to dream. All of these artists have inspired me in their own way, and I wish to share their stories and philosophies on how they overcome the artist's struggle in order to manifest their art. I believe this film will inspire people to go chase after their creative potential and unleash the art warrior within.
You know, these negative emotions and these negative things that I was experiencing and feeling, it put them into the category of resistance, which is like the death wish, the thing that's trying to destroy us all as artists. Mm-hmm. And as artists, that our job is really just to bring these things that are in our heart to the forefront of reality. Things don't always go as planned, you know, like life doesn't just work the way that you want it to.
And that's why you have so many people coming in, trying, like really going for it, and then you burn out. You burn out. Yeah, like, oh man, this is hard, this isn't fun anymore. Like, I feel like I'm selling out, and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and if you don't have that patience and that balance, you totally just burn out.
So we got to maneuver through all these things and all these weird emotions and all these things that we deal with, resistance. And the way that we deal with this resistance is by doing our work. Yeah. You know, we can't get lost in our heads. We just have to do the thing that we know we have to do in order to keep this thing going. And that's the artist struggle.
The key to success, sustained success over a long period of time for anything is adaptation. And it goes for a business, it goes for, if you watch, you know, a television show or a musician, they're evolving. We're constantly honing in on what people in the virtual reality marketplace want, what kind of gameplay they're looking for.
I'm definitely like somebody that's like a go-getter, right? All entrepreneurs have that quality, I would say. And you're a bit of a dreamer and maybe an optimist or an idealist. The image of the thing that I'm striving towards is the key motivator to get me to move in a certain direction. And it's almost like a guiding light pushing me towards where I need to go.
Before I started filming, I was fascinated by this question of what is the driving force behind an artist's consistent pursuit for creativity. This film is going to highlight how artists find purpose in expressing themselves through their art.
When I have a chance to play an hour or 2 hour set in front of my friends, it gives me a chance to just like drop everything else happening in reality. Yeah. It really helps you stay present in that moment, and it's real meditation.
I like to push musical boundaries, but I also love celebration and like bringing that party, like ecstatic spirit to the dance floor, because that is a moment, those are moments when you can really release, and it's important for us to have release because we are so pent up a lot of times, and so it is the antidote. You know, we really need to like fully get out of our body, and like the music sometimes needs to help project us out.
I didn't really know who I was. There was something inside of me that had to come out, and the more that it came out, the more that I felt alive and I felt like myself. So I really did discover a lot of myself through movement, being able to express myself. I found a lot of confidence too that I didn't have before through movement. But those moments, being caught up in flow, in that feeling, that has been able to really help me find parts of myself that I didn't know were there before.
I really believe that practicing self-expression is critical for our sanity. If we don't express ourselves, our pent-up emotions and the voices in our heads can drive us crazy. And I feel pursuing arts is the best way to express and release some of our most complex emotions like anger, grief, and even love.
One of the messages that we hopefully will be able to communicate is to encourage people to pick up an art form and not worry about how they're perceived, because there are different phases to an art form, right? Yeah. First stage being, you know, your spontaneity and your naivete and your confidence or overconfidence being your best friends.
Natural instinct.
Second stage being the mechanical stage where you're trying to master the art from a more technical, scientific perspective.
And here is control.
And the third stage being
you are to combine the two in harmony.
where your technique is just embedded in your instincts,
Right.
and you can just really feel your flow.
Flow state.
Yin yang, eh? Right, man. That's it.
The flow.
Ultimately, this film is going to make you want to feel the flow, to truly and completely express yourself through art.
Flow state is losing track of everything else going on in the world and disappearing fully into what you're doing.
It's when your body and your mind just like stop being two separate things together and you just go.
That's kind of what it feels like. I'm not doing anything. Everything is just flowing and moving together the way it should be.
It's not that I'm not thinking. Sometimes I'm working through problems or issues that I'm going through, but I'm so engaged. I'm not on this planet sometimes.
It's really special to be able to use art to get to that meditative state, because you can get people connected with God or the spirit or whatever you want to refer it to as being a creator.
It was a couple years back where I was on a good psychedelic combo, and it was really cold. There were frost on the tops of all these tents, but I was lost in front of a speaker with my shirt off, doing some Tai Chi movements that I didn't really know where they came from, but I was there all night. Like I'm not exaggerating, it must have been at least 4 to 6 hours. I was
Fair enough.
by the speaker, and it's cold outside, and I did not feel cold. I didn't feel anything, and I could actually feel like I was moving energy in my body the way that, you know, you read how these Tai Chi masters work and stuff like that. Who knows how technical or whatever, but I could feel the energy at that point. I could really feel this force flowing through my body, and I was one with it, and it was keeping me warm, for one, because I should have been freezing. But yeah, it was in those moments, there's nowhere else you'd rather be than right there in the present moment, right there in front of that speaker, and you're just so lost in what you're doing. You're in such a flow state that really nothing else that's going on around you matters. It doesn't matter if people are looking at me, oh, man, this guy's really on a good one. I could care less at that moment, because you feel connected to something that's bigger.